Hi everyone! For our Module 5 discussion, I've decided to explore smartphone compatible VR headsets, of which I have one right here. I'll have a demo later on in this presentation, paired with split screen videos on YouTube. And this creates an accessible, low-cost VR solution that can be used in higher ed or in corporate settings. So the hardware that I've chosen to explore is the smartphone compatible VR headset. I purchased it from Five Below. It's similar to Google Cardboard, but it's even cheaper. So I searched for Google Cardboard on Amazon and there was some price gouging going on. It looked like it's anywhere from $10 to $50 and it's a piece of cardboard. People were complaining that it's uncomfortable. So this one is lower cost and it's made out of plastic. I'll show this a little later, but it's got this padded area, so it's comfortable on your face if you don't wear glasses, but it's somewhat comfortable. It was, I think, a little bit less than $5, so it's a very accessible solution that students could purchase, for example, or schools could purchase on behalf of students. It can also be used for free with videos on YouTube. I'll go into that more on the next slide. All right, so how do you apply this technology? I had to figure out what it can do, what it can't do. So it can primarily be used with free videos on YouTube. They have to be videos that are formatted in a certain way, that are set up as split screen to simulate that 3D video effect that you get when you're wearing 3D glasses, for example, in an IMAX theater, and it creates an immersive 3D experience. However, it's not interactive, so you're just a passive viewer, but it does feel like you're really part of that environment. So in a training environment, this immersive, realistic quality of media can help promote skills transfer and really make you feel like you're doing whatever you're watching. Hey class, for our Module 5 VR technology discussion, I went ahead and I wanted to try out some of the VR hardware. So I found this smartphone compatible, adjustable, low-cost VR headset at Five Below. It was $5 or less. You can see it here. It's not bad quality for the cost. It's got this padded area so that it doesn't like hurt on your face. Although with glasses, I will say that it's kind of like weird to have like the double lens and it doesn't fit quite properly on my head because of that, so I have to take my glasses off and then I can't really see very well. So for glasses wearers, this presents some problems. I'm not really sure how they'll solve that in the future. But what you do here, let me tilt this down. What you do is this comes open and I had to take my case off, but you slide in your smartphone. I've got an iPhone. That's my daughter. And this is adjustable, so it can fit any smartphone, supposedly. And you put it in there. Well, first what I'm gonna do is I need to set something up before I put it in there, because once it's in there, it's harder to get out. So what I did was I did some research on what applications are compatible with this type of hardware technology, and I found that a lot of people are using this to view immersive videos, and you can find great free immersive videos on YouTube. So people have essentially created these videos so that they're split screen, so then they look 3D when you put your phone in the viewer. So I can show you. Here's some on YouTube. I just searched for VR video split screen, and now we have to watch an ad. I'll go ahead and play one so that you can see kind of what it looks like, and then I'm gonna put it in the viewer. So it is annoying when ads play and you have your phone in the viewer because they're not set up properly and they just look kind of weird. Okay. So this is an underwater one. There's a lot of underwater scene ones. roller coasters, dinosaurs, sharks. So it really simulates being in a submarine underwater and seeing a bunch of sea life. Oh, and a shipwreck. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it and then I'll demonstrate wearing it. If I can get it in here. Jesus. All right, not the easiest to get in. Okay. All right, it's in now. There it is, so I close it. And I'm gonna take my glasses off because these get in the way. I'll put the viewer on. Ooh, I see a whale coming at me. Yeah, it's kind of like watching an IMAX film. I don't know if this is 360 video. Like, I'm not sure if the video is actually moving with my head. I don't think so. I think it's just pre-recorded. So the drawback to this is that there's no buttons. So, like, I can't interact. Like, I can't walk in the virtual environment. I can't select things to go through doors into other rooms. I would need a more expensive, more high-tech headset for that. But this is really neat. I mean, it makes me feel like I'm part of this environment that I wouldn't otherwise be able to access. Yeah, that was really cool. All right, well, thank you. For the instructional problem that this technology can address, I was thinking of a higher education setting and how field trips, especially field trips to faraway locations, can be very expensive and not necessarily accessible to all students. A personal anecdote, when I was in college, I was in a scholarship program and it was here on the East Coast, so I went to University of Maryland, and Maryland's somewhat close to New York, so we had within a bus ride we could go up to see the museums, and we did that on a yearly basis. We went on a program field trip to see like cultural things in New York City, but I realized that this was a special opportunity, one, because it was part of the scholarship program, and two, because we were like somewhat close to New York. But for students who live in the Midwest, for example, this might not be an option. So I was thinking of college students studying art in the Midwest. They may never get the chance to visit these famous galleries in Washington, D.C., and New York, and see the art pieces they're studying in books up close. So VR presents a solution for this. These viewers could be used in a lecture-style art history class, and students could purchase them on their own, or the class could purchase them out of the class budget. I don't really know how that works, but so they could together as a class, as a group jointly, watch an immersive video of a visit to an art museum. And this, of course, would cut down on the cost of a physical field trip, and the logistics of a field trip could be expensive, especially if there's a lot of travel involved. So these students could use these viewers to take a collective virtual field trip to the Museum of Modern Art in New York, for example. Then afterwards, the professor could lead a discussion surrounding what significant art pieces they saw on their adventure and what their interpretation of these art pieces was. And here are some article and reference links on how AR VR technology is being used in the corporate world. After doing some research, I was surprised to see that my company, Booz Allen, is using it a lot in their client-facing projects to help to boost military training, for example, flight simulations for pilots, doing all sorts of cool things with AR and VR training. I had no idea that they were working with that type of technology. That's not something that I presently use at work, but maybe in the future we could use it for training. Thank you.